Do you want insight into how I keep up with everything happening in the news? Stick around until the end of this video for an important offer from Ground News. I don't know if Republicans are so secure with the echo chamber of the little information bubble they've created for themselves that they think they can bring people on who are seasoned television veterans, like Stephen A. Smith in this case, and not get pushback or not be shown to be liars and hypocrites that they are. And that's, I think, what happened here. I think that's the explanation. It's the echo chamber effect. It's the information bubble effect. Sean Hannity had Stephen A. Smith, a famed ESPN sports journalist, broadcaster on, and rattled off a longer question I'm not going to show, but I'm going to show the two-part answer of Stephen A. Smith that really makes Hannity's head explode so much so that Stephen A. Smith this morning at 7:49 a.m. Eastern Time just posted a screenshot of his appearance last night on Hannity. I mean, this is life imitating art here. If I could frame this, if I was a fan of Stephen A. Smith to any degree, I would frame this and hang it here in the studio because it encapsulates an amazing moment. It encapsulates greater concepts than just what you see on the photo. Interesting. But here is Hannity trying to run with the narrative that Donald Trump has put forward, that Kamala Harris is cognitively in decline. I mean, he's using the same arguments that he used for Joe Biden for the 60-year-old Kamala Harris, who is brilliant and educated and capable. It's hilarious that rather than come up with his own arguments against Kamala Harris, Sean Hannity just running with Trump's. But he gets put in his place real quick, real hard by Stephen A. Smith.
Number one, yeah, you talk about what she's doing. Bottom line is this: as vice president of the United States, it wasn't her job to lead. She has to go along with the program. You are a support base. You support the person that is in charge, who happened to be Joe Biden. That's number one. Number two, I know you're not talking about somebody being lucid and cogent and enunciating their thoughts with clarity, and you're bragging about Donald Trump. We can't be watching the same stuff if that's what you're doing. You ain't gonna do that today.
You know
now,
what?
Lindsey Graham, hold it. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham is about to come on this show.
Let me tell you something.
That man can articulate himself very well. Not Donald Trump now.
I have sat with him for hour after hour after hour, topic after topic after topic, and he is so dialed in.
Really?
Look, you know, it's funny. People try. This is like the latest argument. And meanwhile, your friends in the Democratic Party.
Oh, sorry. I was over here because Hannity he moved the goalpost so much that it's no longer where it started. Good old Hannity moving the goal. Get me some exercise. He's moving the goalpost so much. Did you see what happened there? Stephen A. Smith says, I know you're not talking about someone being lucid and cogent and enunciating their thoughts with clarity, and you're bragging about Donald Trump. We can't be watching the same stuff if that's what you're doing. To which Hannity says, well, I've spent some time with him. He's pretty great. And, well, you're friends in the Democratic Party. You see, it's impossible to defend the indefensible successfully, accurately. and you can't do it, especially when you're a dum-dum like Sean Hannity, who doesn't know what the definition of literally is. He's stumbled forward, tumbled into success. It's just bass-ackwards or whatever the saying is. Finally, we are at a place, it's a bummer that it took this long, that we are now within 2 weeks of the presidential election. And we're finally starting to see people push back against this narrative, starting to call the media, in this case, Fox News, in this case, the Fox News infotainment side of the opinion side of the organization, starting to call them out. And the reason this is important, because it's not going to move the needle a whole bunch, but the reason this specifically is important is because the audiences for Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and dipshit Jesse Waters, they are in that information bubble, that echo chamber that I talked about. They are in it. They are propagandized to the point of radicalization. And so when they do see somebody push back against Sean Hannity's insane idiocy, it might be one of the first times that they get to see it, because they're not flipping channels. They're not turning over to CNN or MSNBC or News Nation, even with that idiot Chris Cuomo. They're not channel surfing. They may go to a Newsmax or an OAN, but they are comfortable in their disinformation, misinformation bubble. That's where they feel the most competent relative to the issues at hand, relative to this election. They're pleased, they're happy, they are contented by fake poll numbers, by the idea that Donald Trump could win California if only Jesus were counting the votes. This is their happy place. So it's good when a person like Stephen A. Smith gets to go on and counter that narrative, push back against that insanity. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can comment below. That would be great. You can also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I'm on the social media, no shocker, having a miserable time there. If you want to join me in that misery, I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you. Stick around for a word from today's sponsor and be genuine. Take care of one another. If Trump is reelected, he has made it clear in this Truth Social post that he is intent upon revenge against anyone who questions him. It's one of the many recent examples of his dangerous authoritarian mindset and his plans for a future where public dissent is not met with debate, but with prison time. As you might guess, few, if any, right-wing outlets are covering news items like this. And if they are, it's someone like belligerent Ben Shapiro boosting for dropout Doug Burgum in North Dakota. Meanwhile, an independent outlet like Mother Jones is calling it what it is: voter suppression as designed by Project 2025. To say nothing of the spectrum of takes on social media platforms like Trump's, they all serve someone's agenda. Where is the best place to get a clear view of the various angles on a story and cut through the noise of social media? Ground News. It's an app and website that gathers the world's news in one place and exposes the bias of every outlet. With Ground News, you can easily compare coverage across the political spectrum to achieve a more coherent understanding of a particular issue. Democracy cannot survive on blind loyalty and echo chambers. It requires independent thought and civil discourse. That is why Ground News is here and what it's all about. Use Ground News to keep informed about the Middle East or to find out more about labor strikes in your area. All kinds of things are covered. Expand your information base. Head to ground.news/Dollemore or just scan my QR code below to score 40% off the very same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use for this show. By signing up, you'll be supporting not one, but two independent platforms working to make media more transparent. Ground News and Dollemore, unlimit your knowledge with Ground News.